welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock, which means it's time for a Talk Magic. And today, got a little bit of a different one because normally I'm speaking to performers and I'm speaking to people that make their living performing. But who I have on the channel today is somebody who is a creator and a consultant. He's doing some amazing work in the realm of social media magic. And I've had so many people on this channel ask me to interview him. So I reached out and this guy said yes. And I've seen some of his stuff. It's incredible. Please welcome Luke Oseland. How are you doing, Luke? You all right, man?
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks, man. I'm happy to be here and chat about whatever. Hope you're well.
Well, I'm really excited. I'm really excited because you are basically like the man when it comes to social media magic, like the man.
Yeah, I'm glad I
And
found that niche, to be honest.
well, you know what? It is a niche, but it's becoming more and more of a thing every single day. I've got friends that are making so much money from places like TikTok and YouTube, and they're dominating it. And then you look at people like James Samuels and Dan Rhodes and Magic Singh, and the list is on and on and on. And there's people out there that are absolutely killing it with social media magic. And you're the guy that's creating a lot of this stuff. They're performing and you're the guy that's creating it. So I don't think there's anyone better to speak to when it comes to social media magic than you.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, a lot of those guys are my friends. I think I'm kind of glad that I found this niche because I was always kind of creating 10-second tricks and I never really knew what it was because it's like, well, I can't put this out because working magicians don't want a 10-second trick. Like 10-second effects never used to exist. And now it's what everyone wants. They want to be able to take a trick out of a box and do it straight away without worrying about it. Because these guys like Dan, James, all these people are filming like 4 or 5 videos a day. So they don't want to think about it. They just want to grab a 10-second trick, film it, do it, boom, it's there. Which is kind of what I'm glad to say I've got my foot in the door there early. And I do think it'll become a huge thing. So I think I've kind of marked my ground as the guy for that now, which is
You're like the godfather of social media magic. And the old farts like me who go on about, well, it needs to be commercial, it needs to have a routine, and you need to be able to. That's becoming less and less of a deal for a lot of the people that are buying magic these days. I know of people, I've spoken to people on this channel who have got into magic and they've never performed to anybody in their life in a physical way. They've never actually gone and actually shown magic to people, but they've got a huge audience doing it on social media. So, it's a viable performing environment now. Performing on social media is a viable way to consider yourself a magician.
for sure. I actually think that the whole creating a routine thing, I think it's still got obviously a very valid place, but I think you're going to start seeing more, hopefully more, even magic competitions where it's like you get 30 seconds and that's it. All right. Like things like that. Because routining still counts on social media. It's nice to have flow in a video combining tricks like Magic Singh. He performed one of my effects, but he routined it with 2 other effects, which made it really nice. But people just want quick magic because what gets views.
It is. You try and do your 57 phase ambitious card routine on YouTube, you're very quickly going to realize that you're going to get 3 views and then that's it. So you're right, they want quick. So let's, I want to find all about I want to speak to you about social media magic, and I want to find out all about what it is that makes it tick. And I want to talk about, because you've got your own membership site, I want to talk about all of that. But before we do, can I just find out a bit more about you? Because I said to you off camera just before we started this interview, this is kind of a unique situation for me, because normally when I'm interviewing somebody, I know all about them or I've been friends with them for years. And I don't know you, Luke. One of the reasons I reached out to you is everyone said you need to speak to Luke. And ever since people have been saying that, your name's been everywhere. You've just got your first thing coming out through Murphy's Magic, which is huge. So let's find out more about you. How old are you and when did you get into magic?
I'm 18 now, and I turned 18 in lockdown, which wasn't great. So I missed out on my big messy piss up. But so we'll get it at some point. I started magic when I was maybe 8 or 9. I joined the Young Magicians Club when I was 10 because you can join from 10 to 18. Highly suggest it to any young magicians that are looking to get more into magic, because I don't even know if I would still be in magic if it wasn't for that. Met some great people through it that way. And then when I turned 18, I joined the circle. So I'm now an associate of the Inner Magic Circle. And yeah.
You must be the youngest person as an associate in the Inner Magic Circle.
I don't know. I think maybe Dean Levy was an associate. Well, he still would be. But I think right now I probably am the youngest because there's not many other 18-year-olds. But I don't know. Um, I didn't get my gold. I don't have my gold star though. I'm just an associate of the
How many
University.
people do, man? I mean, the fact that you've got the associate, that's amazing. That's great. Okay. And you don't class yourself as a performer, do you? You class yourself more as a creator and a consultant.
Yeah.
Was there a period? So you got into magic when you were like 10 years old. You joined the Young Magic Circle. You stayed there until you were 18. During that 8-year period, was there a period of time where you were like, actually, I do want to be a magician. I want to be a typical magician, or was it always you were wanting to do something else, but you didn't know what?
No, so since I was like a kid before magic, I've loved like making stuff and tinkering, right? Like my mum will always say, because I used to go to her at like 6 o'clock in the evening and be like, Mum, I need an egg box and I need 2 toilet rolls and some pipe cleaners because I'm gonna make a robot right now. And so I've always loved making stuff. And when I found out about kind of creating in magic, because I didn't really understand creating commerce in magic until I was 14 or 15. And I'd always been kind of interested in performing. I've probably only done like 3 gigs, maybe 4 in my life. Like I hate the idea of doing close-up magic. I can't stand like going up to people. I want to have a real conversation. I don't want to show them magic. That's just how I am. And I couldn't do it like from a, I don't know, something in me doesn't work that way. So I highly I look at other magicians that do it and I'm like, yeah, that's cool because I can do that. But I would happily go out on a stage and do like a 10-minute, 15-minute set. And I still do sometimes. It's a rare occasion, but I don't mind going on stage at like a small cabaret or parlor event and doing a quick set. But I never really had that performance bug. I'd say, I don't know how old I was when I started creating, maybe 13 or 14. I used to walk around conventions with this little like sandwich bag full of gimmicks and showing people. Tom Elderfield, I knew him from the Young Magicians Club. He used to live quite close to me and he's now moved to Mexico. But he kind of got me into creating and showed me that like, look, there's these commercial effects and people create and release magic. And back then it was like only, I think it was only just becoming a thing, like releasing magic. It's not been a big thing. Before you had to have created a routine and worked on it for 20 or 30 years before ever thinking about writing it and publishing it. And it kind of, I think those were days of like Sandmine's tricks where kids were literally coming up with tricks and putting them out. Then they were quick visual tricks. And I used to, what anyone says, I used to love the like 10-second Sandmine's tricks that came out and people butchered them because it, I feel like it was ahead of its time almost. I feel like if you look back at stuff like that chocolate coin bite, you look back at that and you're like, yeah, this kills now. No, I mean, it's not a great gimmick or anything, but back then people didn't really understand or appreciate it and its power of like a 10-second video and that people want to see quick magic. But because of kind of my generation's attention span, that's so important now when it comes to social media.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
A bit of a rant there, but like
oh no, rants are good. So who did you look up to when you were like in the Young Magicians Club? Who were your, of course there was nobody doing social media magic back then. I mean, who were you inspired by?
That's a difficult one. So I used to love like Penn and Teller and I used to love watching Fall Us because I used to watch, there's so much diversity of magic. So I used to just love watching that and it kind of gave me a lot of, I don't want to say knowledge about magic, but I saw it was a great way to start and see every different side of magic, if that makes sense. And Dynamo, because Dynamo was doing these 1-2 minute tricks in his TV shows. He was doing 30 tricks in a TV show or so and just banging them out, which I think was like the closest thing to social media there was then. And there was also people like Zach King, who was a VFX editor, but they were kind of social media tricks, right? And obviously now you've got people like Dan and James, but it's kind of a new generation of magicians almost, and this is the way they're pushing.
Okay. So when did you decide, I want to be a social media, that's what I want to do. I want to focus on social media magic. You said that like you were 15 when it started.
Yeah.
Thing and Sans Minds were like taking over. And, when do, of course, obviously social media goes way back before, like, way back, 15 was 3 years ago. So when you were 15, social media goes way back before that. But I think before that, it was kind of like YouTube channels. And we're talking here about kind of more of TikTok or the YouTube
short form content. Yeah,
short form content, the sort of the Instagram style stuff. You see Dan Rhodes as a perfect example, killing it now on shorts on YouTube. You know, like he's just absolutely everywhere.
Mental.
So yeah, I mean, I think he's like the #1 viewed guy in the
Yeah,
whole world.
he just hit 3 million subscribers. It's like unheard of in the YouTube community. It's mental to get that much growth that quickly.
I know, it's just insane. It really is. It's just completely insane. And fair play to him. You know, fair play, absolutely fair play to him. So I suppose my question is, when did you decide that you wanted to get involved in this side of things?
So I started kind of posting my creations. I think I probably did like everyday magic for a bit as well, where I was posting like a new creation every day. I probably did that for a couple of months, but I don't know. I would have been like 14 or 15 when I was posting these, but I didn't really see it as anything more than just me posting a quick trick. And they weren't ever tricks that were like, quite a lot of them wouldn't even be mine. So sometimes it would be a trick that wasn't meant to be a 10-second trick, but I'd like shorten it a lot and make it a 10-second trick. And then I think the first kind of bit of work I did for someone was Sav. So he used to be at Savant Street. Now he's Sav Magician or Sav Magician, and he was kind of an OG in the game of like 10-second tricks. And I remember saying to him once when I was like only just into creating, "Hey man, I'll make you." I think it was something stupid. I was like, I'll write you 10 ideas, 10 video ideas for £30." That was the deal. And I said, and I'll build whatever ones you want off the list, I'll build for an extra X amount. So I ended up making him this trick, which is now on my membership Oseyfans, where you have like a hard-boiled egg and a chocolate bar, and you throw the chocolate bar at the egg and it changes into a cream egg. And that was the one he was like, yeah, let's do this. And that was kind of my first page, like, wow, this is cool. And then off the back of that, I was like, I'm gonna start a thing. I'm gonna call it 10-second miracles, because that's what I do. And I think that lasted for not a very long amount of time at all. And it's kind of now like I've always been thinking like, how can I set up a social media magic company? Now it's kind of graduated to Oseyfans over that video I did with Sav must have been over 3 years ago now. So, or two or 3 years ago at least. But it was all quite quick. I kind of I was able to brainstorm ideas quickly, and I knew what magic in my head is quick and what's long form. I've always kind of had that thing of being able to create short form content. So that kind of helped a lot, and it graduated from there. But yeah, I'd say when I was like 15 or 16, I decided I want to do short form stuff. That's what I'm good at.
Okay, and you've mentioned a few times about Oseyfans. Can you tell us about Oseyfans and what it is and what it does and why people should be involved in it?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm giggling a bit to myself in a minute, but I'll explain it briefly. If you're looking to boost your social media or you're looking for some visual magic, I have a membership called, this is like the only plug I'll do in this. It's called Oseyfans, oseyfans.com. I'm sure there'll be a link down below. I can make you a discount code as well if you want. And basically you get a free trick, or not free, you're paying for it, but like you get a visual new tutorial every week in return for the subscription price. There's also podcasts on there from people that I think are doing like they're killing it. So I did one with Dan Rhodes, for example. I did one with my mate Theo Maleo, who he got like 200,000 followers on TikTok in a matter of a week or two. And I was on the phone with him on this podcast, and I think it was a week into him making this TikTok. And I said, yo, your TikTok is going to double by when I post this podcast. And sure enough, when I posted it, his TikTok following doubled. So there's podcasts from people like him on it. There's also some PDFs and stuff, but you're mainly there for these visual tricks. They're not all by me. A lot of them are. And once a month, I have a guest artist piece by people like Ollie Mealing, Josh Janowski, to name a couple. But it's kind of a place for visual magic. And the reason I was giggling was because it's a subscription. There's over 20 items on there already, but I got this tattoo done the other day on my lip to prove that it's not a quick thing. Like I'm in this for, I'm committed to this project. So I got a little, I know you can see it.
Yep.
And it says Oseyfans on my lip now. So that's there.
Hurt like hell.
I've had it done twice now. The first time I had it done, it didn't hurt too bad, and then it came off. The ink just fell out of my lip. So they did it again yesterday, and he said, I'm going to do it a lot deeper. And I thought the needle was going to go through my lip. It wasn't nice, but it's done now. And hopefully it stays there. But yeah.
Man. So when you post a video, so I'm trying to get this straight. So you post a video every single week.
Yeah.
And that stays there. So they've got access to that. So
So it works. Right. So it works like Netflix. So if you subscribe now, you'll get the last 20 weeks content. And a lot of people have said to me, like, why wouldn't I just wait a year? And and then you'd have access to 50, right? The way I see it is that by doing it now, you're going to be one of the first people to be able to post that trick. So you're paying for almost exclusivity. So yeah, I don't know. In a year's time, I might lock off all the last year's content, so you might not get it. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. But if you subscribe next week, you'll get the last 20 weeks, and you're paying for that new trick every week, along with a massive back library to work through.
Okay. I want to talk about more about that membership site in a minute, but before I do, let me ask you a question. You've obviously just released a trick through Murphy's.
Yeah.
And I just watched the trailer to this before we had our interview, and it was mental. I mean, it's like a sugar cube that just appears out of nowhere kind of thing. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I could do it now if you want. If it's
Please do, Luke. I'd love people to see it. Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool, man. I have to work out how to frame this. Okay, so I've got a sugar packet here. A lot of my tricks use like sugar and coffee because I spend a lot of time in cafes, but we'll empty a bit of this out here. I don't know if you can see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Hopefully if we just kind of swirl it. Oh, there you go. So now we can make a little sugar cube appear. I need to put this in like a cup or something. There we go.
That's incredible. I mean, that's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks,
so I have questions. And my first question is, I'm guessing that didn't go on Oseyfans because you...
No, it didn't. It didn't.
So my question is, I suppose the first question of many is, what made you decide to release that as a product as opposed to release it in your membership site?
I mean, there's an obvious reason, but so this is my first kind of self-published physical product. So I've got 3 products out of Illusionist as well, but this is kind of my first one which I did on my own. And for me, I wanted a self-published physical thing that I could take with me to lectures and sell, right? So I don't want to say like it's a money thing, but like it helps a lot, right?
You got to eat, Luke. There's no problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with it, you get 2 gimmicks with it, which aren't. I could have taught it on Oseyfans, but it wouldn't look as good as it does now because we had these like professionally machined and built really well. If you look at like the prototype I made, it's nowhere near as good. So, and also it's a very difficult thing to find the materials and stuff. So it wouldn't have looked as good as it does in the final packaging. But I kind of just wanted like a physical product. I don't know how else to explain it. This isn't on Oseyfans, and I might even in the future I might take some of the Oseyfans effects, develop them a bit more, and release them as physical products with like extra stuff. But I don't know. This was kind of just a fun project for me, and yeah.
It's great. So what Murphy's are actually marketing, this is obviously going to every single dealer in the world, and Murphy's are actually marketing this as a social media trick. So I, as an old fart, can get my head around this. What's the difference between a social media trick and a regular trick? Like, is that like, could I take that trick that you just showed me and do it in a restaurant or do it in a coffee
100%.
shop?
Yeah. So I don't really think about this too much because to me, like everything I create, I'm always like, yeah, this is going to look sick on social media. You could do pretty much all of this stuff in real life and it would look great as well. It's just for me, I developed it for social media because I wanted it to be that quick 10-second trick. But you could do this in it. Like this has been my go-to effect for the last, I don't know, 6 months now. Like whenever I'm having coffee with a friend or something or on FaceTime during the pandemic. But if you're at a coffee with a mate, it's such a good like offbeat effect to do, to pour out some sugar and do this. And there's a Paul Wilson effect where he has like a napkin and he just starts shaping this little stick man out of a napkin. And it's one of the best like offbeat tricks, which I think is some of the best magic because it just, if people know you're a magician and you do something and you don't take any notice of it, it's almost like you're using magic as a life hack, which is what a magician would do. So it just makes you look way more magical than a performer. You're not performing this effect, you're just doing it because it's making your life easier, which is what any magician that could do real magic would do, right?
Absolutely. Okay, cool. That's really good. So that's available right now.
Yeah, you can get that on my website or any magic shop.
Oh well, let's get your website and I'll put it down below. Can you
cool. Yeah, Oseyfans.com. That's where the membership is as well. You can check that out. I will say if you're a member of Oseyfans, you get a discount to all my products as well. So if you want to do both, then by all means.
And how much is the membership side subscription?
Oh yeah, so the membership is £10 a month, which works out at like £2.50 per trick, or if you're counting it as every trick I've put out, it's like 50p per trick, right? And then you get I don't know, I think it's up to 30 or 35% off all of my tricks that are on my store. So yeah, it's I think it's a good deal. Like you're getting a lot of magic for the price.
Are you worried that you'll ever get creative block? And it's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
right,
No,
okay, I'm gonna put out a trick this week. God damn it, I've got another. Right, okay, look, here you go, guys. That's this week's. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, 100%. When it gets to like, it got to like week 17, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Because right at the start of it, for the month of January, I let people buy a year membership. I was like, I've got to do this for a year now. I've got to do 52 effects. So I have like a little back catalog of tricks. So if I do ever have really bad mental block, I can just go through a notebook and grab one. But I do try genuinely come up with a trick every week and film it every week because it's a fun creative challenge for me, and I'm really enjoying it.
That's amazing. That's great. Okay, let me ask you a question here. In terms of advice, I want to get your advice on a couple of different things. So first of all, if somebody wants to grow a social media channel, you're the guy. I mean, you're connected to all of the top social media guys in the world. So if somebody's sitting here and they're going, you know what, I want to grow a social media channel, what's the best way to do that? Because they could subscribe to your membership site and learn all the tricks, but that alone is not gonna do it, right? Is there any advice on that subject?
Yeah, so I would say pick what you want to do first, right? Because you might just want to grow your Instagram, or you might want to grow your TikTok and your Instagram and your YouTube. The great thing is all of these social medias now have short form content built into them. And it's the best way to grow because almost all of these platforms also have an explore page. So even Snapchat and I don't think Facebook have done theirs yet, but I'm sure they'll roll it out soon. They've all got these short form content, which are, when Vine was a thing, we had 7-second videos. Now it's TikTok, you get up to a minute. I think Instagram, you have like 15 seconds. So my advice would be that's the best way to kind of broaden your audience. And TikTok, they give you your first video, they will show to a lot of people because they want you to have that first hit of like of growth. So I would say just make, like, if you want to grow everything, make short form content, post and make it well lit. Just film it on your phone. Honestly, like you don't need to go out and buy a special camera or a lighting rig or anything, and edit it however you want. Do it on your phone. Don't edit it. It doesn't really matter. Post it everywhere, right? Post it on TikTok, Reels, YouTube. Straight away, if you film one video, you're getting like 4 or 5 pieces of content cross-platform from that one thing. Plus, you're sharing it to your story and whatever. I would suggest joining an engagement group as well if you're trying to grow your Instagram or making one with a few friends. So an engagement group is typically a group chat of people, and you'll share it and they will go comment on it. And I don't know if it actually does that much as far as the algorithm goes, but it makes your posts look a lot more popular than they actually are. And if someone sees a post which has no comments on it, they might not comment on it. If they see it with 20 posts with 20 comments on it from their friends or people they look up to, they're more likely to go comment on your post. So that's a couple of things. As far as TikTok goes, I'd say join their creator newsletter. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they have a newsletter and they tell you hashtags that are about to be trending. So they say, we're going to put these hashtags on our front page. And if you post videos using those hashtags, you'll be like one of the first people to use a hashtag. So they'll automatically push it higher. That's another little trick. Yeah, that's about it. And I'd say like enjoy it. If you're not going to enjoy it, don't do it.
And what's the end game for a social media magician? Is it to get recognition? Is it to build a brand so they'll book you for an actual real gig? How can you make money as a short form video producer? Because I know, for example, YouTube monetization, shorts aren't monetized.
Yeah, then they're not monetized. Shorts for YouTube, the kind of main reason to that for them is to bring traction to your account. So they'll watch your other longer form videos and then you can monetize them. TikTok you can monetize. Like I'd say don't do it if you're not going to fall in love with it and enjoy it, because that's you've got to put a grind into it. And if you don't see results and you give up, then there's no point in you doing it. But yeah, it's really up to you. You want to see what you want from it. Like I have a few followers on TikTok. I think I'm on 20 something thousand because I got bored during lockdown. I wanted to film some videos and have a play with it myself. You can make money off of it. You can make decent money off of Snapchat spotlights and TikTok Creators Fund, I think they pay like $40 per million views, which is, it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you get a video with 10 million views, that's $400. So there is a kind of money incentive there as well. And also you can get brand deals, and there's a lot of ways to make money off of content, which people don't even realize about. Like if you were to look into it, you can make money from affiliate marketing by doing a video. So you could do a video using, I know you could do, let's say a magician like Dan, for example, did a prank video with a little box with a spider that came out of it, right? Which is a classic prank. If you film that video, and at the start of the video, he said, I just bought the best thing off of Amazon. I bought this thing and I'm going to go scare my brother with it. He takes it to his brother, gets a reaction shot. And it says, if you want one of these, check out the link in my bio. And he's getting, 5% per sale. If that video blows up and he sells 1,000 of them, that 5% turns into £1,000. Like, there's a lot of money. There can be a lot of money incentive, but if you look at the big guys, that's normally not the reason they're doing it. Dan, I know Dan very well. He's not really interested in the money at all. He just wants to grow, and then he's kind of setting himself up for the future, which I respect, because he knows at some point it's going to hit, and that's what he wants to do. Money incentive is a lot for a lot of people, but I don't know, you just got to really like it. A lot of people just want to see a number go up. They just want to have that hit and that brush of notifications. If you talk to Sean Does Magic, he'd tell you the same thing. He'd say, I don't drink, I don't do any drugs, but my high is seeing the notifications blow up when I do a new post. So it's stuff like that. Everyone's got some reason they want to do it, and for you it's to find it. But it might be you want to put out some social media content because you think it's been lacking. And if someone's going to book you for a gig, the chances are they'll check out your social media to see what content's on there. So it's nice to have a few videos, even if they're not viral, just a few nice videos of good, strong visual magic that an employer will see.
Okay, that's really good advice. One more question on that. A couple of questions, actually. The first question is, let's say there's somebody watching this that really loves social media magic and they want to get more involved in it. I've heard you say quite a few times in this interview, I know this person, I know this person, I know this person. It feels like there's a group of magicians that post on social media all the time. You go to a magic club, you know as well as me from being in the Young Magicians Club, you're going to have the majority of people are not interested in social media magic. They're, I remember the war, whatever it may be. Is there somewhere where you can go to hang out with like-minded social media magicians? Somebody's here watching this and they're like, man, I want to, where do you go? I don't know of any magic club. Is there a secret magic club for you guys?
There's not. I wish there was. There's really not. I don't even know how I know. I know these guys just from seeing them at conventions or like just talking to them, and also they're sometimes buying my tricks and stuff. So I know them through that. There's not really a club. I would say like it's kind of a lot of guys from my generation I've known when I was a kid, like growing up with them, showing each other card tricks and trading children's party gigs with each other. Like I know a few of them from that, but there's no cheat sheet or club. We have like group chats from like 5 years ago, but I'm not in like any major group chats with all the big creators. It's not like a little clique or anything. I would say like just hang out with your friends, and if one of you gets interested in social media, someone else might, right? And you can grow together, which is really nice, because if you can find someone that you can make good videos with and collab with them, you'll throw back off of each other, you'll give each other video ideas and really play tennis, and you'll watch each other grow, and it'll be one of the best things. If you can find someone that you can genuinely make good content with, which I don't have. I make the content pretty much on my own, but I help other people make content or whatever. But yeah, if you can find someone else to make videos with, that's kind of what you want.
Perfect. And one other question about social media magic before we move on. Got to kind of address the elephant in the room, which is, and I don't know if you saw my interview with Dan that I did a little while ago.
Yeah.
There's this big negative. Yeah, and I'm not you. If you saw the interview, you know that I'm actually quite pro. I'm a big advocate of tutorials on YouTube, and all inclusive. And I hate it when magicians go, no, this person should, because it's like I don't feel like we should stop anybody from learning something, which is an amazing hobby. My question is, what's your view on the stuff that magicians consider blatant exposure of like marketing products and stuff?
Yeah, I'm not on that. Like, you'll never see me post a video where I'm teaching someone else a trick. And I'm afraid that one of my friends, like, Dan, and I don't want to be hypocritical because I see them exposing other people's tricks, which I think is bad. Like, and I'll say to Dan quite often, I'll be like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have posted that. Um, there's a guy in Australia who me and Dan used to be friends with, and I won't mention his name, but he was pretty much exposing the stuff that I was putting on Oseyfans. And I would text Dan and be like, why is he doing this? They're not even like, I'd get it if these videos were getting like 20 million views and he was making $1,000 each. I would ask him for some money if that was the case, right? But he wasn't. They weren't getting views, so I was like, bro, stop posting my tricks or tutorials. They're not doing you any good. There's no point. But which is a bit hypocritical from me because I don't really say that to other people. But uh, I'll see them posting stuff and I'll be like, yeah, I wouldn't have posted that if I were you. But I don't have any control over what they post, anyways. I can all I can do is say to someone like, maybe don't post that, but most of the time they will. Um, I think some things I really like when they're exposed. I don't want to say that in a bad way, but like stuff like I think Joel and Dan, they both done the same video where they expose Electric Touch by Yigal Masika, but actually you watch the video and it's them rubbing the nipple of a 9-volt battery and touching their mate. And I really like that kind of exposure video when like it's a fake setup because it's almost like a soccer trick, right? In the same way where you have a fake method, it's really nice because then these people will try it and be like, it doesn't actually work. So what was he doing then? Which I really like. I'm trying to think of another example, but Overstuffed by Bizarro. There's a classic one which a lot of people are doing at the minute where they take a bit of milk through a straw, hold it there, and then they pretend like they're spitting the milk into it, which is what's making it fill up with cream. I love that kind of stuff. The commercial stuff, I'm not on board with that. One thing I would say to kind of give people peace of mind, this is not going to be a trend forever. I guarantee in 1 or 2 months there'll be a new trend, which hopefully will be better than exposing magic for views. But this is a trend. They're going to ride this trend for as long as they can. It'll go away at some point.
Absolutely. And it does feel like, I don't know, that when you become a social media magician, it's almost like a drug. It's kind of like you post that video and it's like, oh my God, there's 500,000 views. And now I've got to do another one. And you might do a video where you've exposed something and it's like, oh my God, that's got millions of views. I need to do another one. It's not necessarily about a money thing. It's almost like, you need your new hit. It's like, oh my God, I've got, people are loving this.
Yeah, for sure. So I was, Dan was in London a while back with one of our friends, and I was with him, and he just hit, I think, 100,000 followers on TikTok that day. He was like, "Wow, this is really cool." It's like, "Yeah." So what now? He's like, 200,000, I guess. I was like, "Right, okay." So how long does this go on for though? Because like Dan's on like I don't know. I mean, Joel, for example, he's about to hit 10 million followers. I don't know if you can grow from there. Can you be a TikTok magician with 50 million followers? Like, at what point do you stop and take a look and be like, actually, this is enough. I'm good. But I don't think it is that. I think they're following a rush. And I think it genuinely is like a drug. Like, I've had 2 videos that hit 1 million views, and I'm like, that's a good video. And I've done like 5 or 10 that's pretty much the same video, just in a different style. None of them have hit. And you're like, wow, I need to get that next 1 million views. You want your notifications to blow up. So it's addictive. It's almost like a drug.
It really is. It really is. I've seen that so many times. Absolutely. Well, changing the subject, let's talk about you as a consultant. What, because you talk about how you're a consultant and you do consultancy. Can we talk about what you do with that? Like what sort of people are hiring you? Do you consult just on magic, or do you consult on social media in general? I'd love to know.
So I've done like little bits of social media consultancy kind of when I was still at school. As I said, for Sav, my first bit of consultancy, I guess, was writing a list of tricks for him. I worked with a guy a YouTuber in Poland who has like a million subscribers, did the same thing, generated a bunch of ideas, which isn't my preferred style of consulting because you're just like harvesting ideas from yourself and writing them down. And then I did the social media thing for a while. I got hired to work on Dynamo's latest TV show, which was a great experience. I did a bit of work on that. I had a few tricks that aired as well, which was sick, seeing your own trick on TV. And then recently, I've been doing kind of more social media stuff, working with some of the big kind of social media guys and developing content for them. But it's the odd thing. Like, I'm working on a show in Italy in July. I'm doing like little bits here and there. I've also started working for a bar recently, doing kind of as a social media coordinator. So it's not strictly magic based. I prefer to do magic because I love magic, and I know I'm going to get. I know I'm going to be able to get the most results from a magician as opposed to some random company, because I know what I'm doing more with a magician than a general marketing company or whatever. But yeah, I've been, I'd say, consulting as my primary source of income for maybe the last 1 or 2 years. Yeah,
It's amazing. And if somebody's watching this and they want to take social media performing really seriously and they want to reach out to you and maybe bring you on board as a consultant, is it a case of just contacting you through Oseyfans?
Yeah, there's a form page on my website where you can contact me, or just shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'm pretty easy with that kind of stuff. I do like I prefer to work in like hour sessions, because I think me and a client will get the most out of that, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I can come with you for a day and we can shoot and create some stuff. If you want to go to an office and we'll create a bunch of stuff together, that's great. But I think that I've really enjoyed doing these like hour over the phone, or even getting coffee, like if they live near enough or whatever in London. It's a really fun thing to just sit down with someone for an hour and just kind of, it's like sprinting instead of doing a marathon, right? Like, sure, we can work for the whole day, but if we do an hour, we can really kind of get some cool stuff made. So if anyone wants to have a chat with me and do an hour session, you can shoot me a DM on Instagram, or fill out a form on Oseyfans, and I'll get back to you. But it's not something I push too much, because I'd say like I kind of wanted to bring my, I hate using the word like knowledge, but like stuff I know about social media. I realized that the way to bring that to the most amount of people is doing a membership, which is why I've done it. So it's kind of, it's never been this accessible before if you want to get into social media magic. And there is stuff which will help you grow on there as well. Like the podcast, I would 100% recommend. Like I did one with Charlie Davis, and he just spoke for about like half an hour about how to get brand deals. And I learned so much in that. I was like, this is mental. No magicians know about this. And there's PDFs in there as well about like tricks you can use to get to your first 10,000 followers on TikTok or Instagram, which I think is quite beneficial. So if you want to, look at them first, I'd say that's a good starting step to get into social media.
That's amazing, and it does sound like you're taking this Oseyfans very seriously. Especially with the tattoo and everything. That's cool. That's brilliant. Let's talk about creativity, because obviously you're running what is in essence a company that relies on you creating a trick every single week, as well as the stuff that you're bringing out through Murphy's Magic and so on and so forth, and the stuff that you're creating for other people that hire you on a consultancy basis. Mm-hmm. So you must spend a long time creating, which is the holy grail for a lot of magicians. They want to be a creator of magic. Is there any advice you can give in terms of creativity and the creative process?
For sure. I do think some creativity comes naturally to some people more than others, because I've given people loads of advice on creativity and they're still like, that just doesn't tick in my brain. I just can't do it. So I do think that's kind of a thing for some people, but I 100% believe that creativity is a muscle in your brain that can be practiced, and you can get better at it. I'd say throughout working as a kind of professional consultant, like every day for a long period of time, I'm now kind of at a point where I can take shortcuts in creativity, or know what works and what doesn't. And there's a few games that you can play. There's a game Angelo Carbone showed me a very long time ago at a club, where you get I've got them here. You get a stack of post-it notes, right? And you'll have a hat or something, and on one color post-it notes you'll write down a load of items. So you could be emptying your pockets and write down everything that's in your pockets on a different post-it note, or look at your desk, or look on your shelves, or whatever, or just get a random item generator on Google, and you write them down. And you take another color post-it note, so let's say green, for example, and you write down a bunch of methods. So it might be like a reel or a pull, or magnets or elastic thread. There might just be some little tool or whatever, or a raven, or using a toppet. And then you take out one item or two items even, and then you take out a method. So let's say, I don't know, we'll come up with something now. So let's say it was a reel, and I'm just looking around my desk, and and a padlock. Okay, I've got my gym padlock there. So a reel and a padlock, and you might think about it, and then you think like, oh well, what if I had a ring here, and then you could have a ring on a reel, and you throw it and it links on, for example. That could be a trick, and you just go through and you keep brainstorming these, and you keep taking them out. And it's a fun game to do with if you've got any friends that you can chat to on either a Zoom or get coffee with, or go onto a Discord server if you don't know any magicians, which I'd highly recommend doing if you want to hop onto like illusionists have a good Discord, and there's actually a creator table for people to chat about this kind of stuff, which is good. There's other games you can play. Like there's a game, there's a game Rory and I play quite a lot called Finish Me Off, which is it's a lot more harmless than it sounds. And the idea of the game is you'd say the start of an effect, and the other person would finish it, and then you take it in turns. So Rory might say to me, you take a blindfold and put it on your face, and then I would have to say, you do a smash and start routine or whatever. And that's kind of another way you can do it. There's a lot of these games. There's another one called ping pong, where you choose an item. So it might be a cactus, for example, and then you just got to keep coming up with ideas until one of you runs out, or you'll do it in a writer's room with on a table and keep doing it until people run out. So there's a lot of ways you can kind of harness creativity. One thing I'd recommend doing, this is something probably the creative game I play on my own the most out of all of them. I'll go to a location, so it might be a bar, for example, and I'll write down on a notepad any item I see, or I'll take photos. So I'd write down straws, napkins, glasses, olives, limes, lemon wedges, all this stuff, and then off of it, I was doing it earlier. I would strand off of them as many ideas as I could come up with. So, for example, you might say, okay, you take the lime, squeeze it out, and then you kind of shake it, and it restores, or so it'd be like a kind of squeezed and restored lime wedge. And you keep doing that with every item until you've got like 5 to 10 tricks with each item, and suddenly it's been 2 hours and you've come up with like 100 ideas, and 95 of them might be horrendous, 99 of them might be horrendous, but there might be one gem in there, which is something you can take further. So that's a few little creative games you can play. I hope that helps anyone that's looking to get into creativity.
Man, that's a masterclass in creativity. That was fantastic. And how important do you think it is to have a big knowledge base? Do you think that's good or bad? Because the reason I ask you that is I have no idea how that sugar cube thing works. Like, no idea. It's coming. I'm going to review it. I've got no idea. But I'm fairly sure that's no method that I've ever seen before, because I'm fairly well read, and I think
it's a method you've seen before. I'll tell you now, it's a method you've seen before. So the sugar cube, for example, that was an accidental thing I came up with. Like, I'll say I found something to do with the gimmick in a vitamin bottle, and I thought this would work for this, which is a weird thing. Like, I don't have the biggest knowledge of magic at all. I don't think I've ever completed a magic book the whole way through, which is really, that's not a thing to be impressed by at all. You know, I've seen a lot of magic lectures. I don't really watch magic DVDs or anything like that. Yeah, I don't think it's the most important thing. I think like having a basic understanding of magic, you know, knowing what a double lift is helps a lot. But I wouldn't say it's that crucial. When I was younger, I used to kind of want to learn as much as I could from other creators. So I used to buy a lot of at the table lectures, because as far as value for money goes, it's like $7 and you're getting 3 or 4 hours of content from a specific creator. So, I mean, if people want to look into that kind of stuff, I would recommend Shin Lim's, Kyle Mallet's, Shin Lim, Kyle Mallet's, and Bizarro's. That's 3 at the table lectures. You can get all of them for $20, and you'll learn a lot about gimmick making. Like, I think that was most of what I learned from gimmick making was from those 3 lectures alone.
Wow. And the stuff that is on Oseyfans, the short form content that people are buying into, is it stuff with cards and coins, or is it completely off stuff like what you've just shown me with the sugar cube?
It's all I'll show you another thing in a minute. I'll show you another item off of the membership, but it's all kind of stuff. It's all situational stuff. So stuff with like random items you might find. So there's some stuff with straws. There's other stuff with sugar packets, coffee cups. There's a few tricks with cans and like can tabs and coins. There's a couple of tricks with cards on there, but that's not the focus. The idea is I want people to be able to pick up almost seemingly anything and do a trick with it. That's kind of the idea from it, because that's what looks best in a video. You know, you could do a color changing deck and it might get millions of views, But if you're at a coffee shop or somewhere where it looks natural, or I mean, I'll show you. This is a good example. Let's say you're at a McDonald's or a drive-through, and you take two sauce pots and then you just touch them together and they change, right? That's something you can do that looks so situational, which could blow up on, and it did blow up on social media. I think that was actually used in a McDonald's advert recently because one of the members managed to get a brand deal from McDonald's out of it from that trick alone.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing.
But it's all really easy to build stuff as well. Like if you've only just gone into Magic or you've never built gimmicks before, it's all pretty easy to make as well.
Yeah.
Anyone's wondering.
It's not going to be like 15 hours at an arts and craft table pulling your hair out and just
no. Every video I think is under 15 minutes, and they're all pretty in depth. Like I try to keep it short because my attention span is not there, so I want to keep it as brief as I can and kind of just explain it to you in brief.
Awesome. So let me ask you a question. Where do you think the future of social media Magic is going? Do you think it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, or do you reckon at some point the bubble will burst? What do you reckon?
I don't think it's going anywhere for sure. Like I remember when I was getting to Magic, the kind of end goal for a lot of us was because we'd see, Dynamo and Troy on TV. That's the end goal. Want to be a magician like that. Whereas the magicians are now getting into Magic, and there is actually quite a few magicians that have gotten into Magic because of people like Dan Rhodes and Joel, and they're thinking, I don't want to be a TV magician. I want to be huge on social media, and that's their end goal. So I think pretty much the next generation, and kind of edging forwards from my generation of magicians, is going to be heavily invested in social media Magic. Yeah. So I think I don't think it will overtake TV, but I think it's definitely getting there.
Okay. And before we wrap this whole interview up, let me ask you about you. Mm-hmm. What goals do you have moving forward? I mean, you're 18 years old. You've been doing Magic. I mean, I didn't even start doing Magic till I was 18, man. So, I mean, you're so further along than a lot of people, me included. You've got your own membership site. People absolutely love you. I know that from the amount of people that have asked me to interview you. You're consulting, as you said, you've consulted with Dynamo. You've helped a lot of social media magicians blow up. You're creating stuff all of the time. You just had your first thing come out through Murphy's. I mean, huge. You've accomplished so much at the age of 18.
Thanks, man.
It's true, man. You really have. I mean, it's really inspirational. And to see all of that, because traditionally Magic is, well, if you want to be successful or you want to be you have to perform. You've done it all without really a focus on performing at all, which is incredible. So what's your goals moving forward? What's on your magical bucket list? Where would you like to see Oseyfans going, and where would you like to see yourself going as well?
Don't know really. Wish I could sound more bothered about it. I want Oseyfans to be big. Like I think Oseyfans, and there's a lot of other memberships as well, right, which are great, and it's a huge step forward as far as independent creators go, because for us, like so me, Ollie Mealing, Rory Adams, Andrew Frost, Christian Grace, we've all got memberships and we're loving it, because like I don't want to be the guy that has 52 projects out on Murphy's Magic as downloads, but if I do it as one membership, it's a way for me to put out my creativity and not have 70 tricks under my belt, because I do think that some of the best creators put out 1 or 2 effects and then stop, because that's what they've been doing for the most amount of time. But for me, that's not really what I want. That's not really how it works for me, because I'm constantly coming up with ideas. So for me to be able to present one project, actually kind of, when you look into it, has like a whole shitstorm of products underneath it, is really nice for me to be able to do. So I want to make Oseyfans as big as it can. I want it to be a lot of members. I want to start doing bigger things with it, and hopefully it will go well. And I'll put out a few more products, I'm sure, like the sugar cube thing, and kind of push social media stuff as much as I can. Of course, helping other people, consulting and stuff. But I think, to be honest, at the minute, I'm pretty chilled about it all. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I wish I had something better. I wish I had something better to say. Like, I don't know. I'd be nice to move out pretty soon. Other than that,
well, dude, the bottom line is you're 18 and you're killing it. So I mean, you don't need too many goals. You're doing brilliantly. You really are. You're doing fantastic. Have you got anything else on kind of that you're working on? As you said, you want to bring out more products, physical products. Anything else that you've
Yeah,
got?
so I do see, like in my head, I see Oseyfans as like a much bigger thing than it is right now. We just booked a stand at Blackpool, which was a big step for me because that's like something I wanted to do since I was like 14 or 15. I've been like, oh, I want to be one of these guys selling tricks, and I've done like dealer days before. Like I worked on Nobody Knows It stand the last couple of years at Blackpool, I think. But this is a big thing. So hopefully we're gonna have a nice big badass stand at Blackpool, and I want to start kind of bringing together the creative community more. I see it as a big thing. Yeah, can't remember what the question was off the top of my head, but
Where are you planning on going? So I mean,
oh
yeah,
yeah,
having a dealer stand at Blackpool is amazing.
yeah. I think there'll be a couple more releases. I don't know if I'm trying to think if there's anything coming out soon. There's not really. The Sugar Cube trick's all right. Like I'd get that if I were you.
All right, dude, it's amazing. I've never been so fooled in my life. I have no idea how it works, and it's
Thanks, man.
it's great. And you know what? I have less over lockdown, but I have a lot of coffee meetings with clients, and just being able to do something like that to a client, I think it's, you call it social media magic, but I think there's for me, it's almost like situational magic or
Yeah,
organic magic.
yeah.
I've been banging on about this on the channel for ages, which is, as a magician, you should be able to do magic all the time. If somebody says to you, what I hate, Luke, is when somebody goes, oh, show me a trick, you're a magician, I haven't got anything on me. I mean, I hate that. It's like, because you're saying that you're not really magic and that you need your props.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the amount of gigs that I've had because I'm traveling to a gig on a train and I'm just sitting there doing something, and people come over and I give them a business card and then they ring me up and book me. And I think that even if people that are watching this interview that have absolutely no interest in social media, they don't have a social media channel, they don't have Instagram, they don't have TikTok, they don't have YouTube, they have no interest in doing any of that, I think they should still check out your membership site, because I think that they need to have the ability to be able to sit down with a client or with a friend or whatever it may be and just do something with the stuff that they find around them. That's what makes somebody a real magician. And I think that what you're doing is incredible with regards to that.
Thanks, man. So I remember hearing Scott Penrose say it. He said, and it's always stuck with me. He said, you should be making everything you do magical. And like, I think that's obviously a bit of a stretch to say everything you do, because otherwise you end up picking up a bottle like this, right? And you don't want to do that. But like, I think there's such a great area for situational magic, being able to seemingly like do magic because you want to, and it's on your terms. Like you could just pick up anything and do the most insane shit with it, right? Like there's not a lot of it, and I want to see more of it. I love organic stuff, and it is all the stuff on Oseyfans. Pretty much most of it you can perform live as well if people want to check it out, and it is all fun little situational things you can show your friends and family and clients. I think it's fun stuff.
It is. It's amazing, and I'm going to be reviewing the whole membership site.
Nice.
And you know what? Based on the stuff that I've seen, I'm sure it's going to be absolutely amazing. But in the description down below, you said that there's going to be a discount code if anybody.
Yeah, let's do all capitals, Petty 50, and that will get you 50% off your first month. That's a good discount code. I think
That's amazing. And is it a cancel anytime deal?
Yeah, so it's 10 quid a month. So I used to do it on an old server provider, and there was hidden fees. I've gotten rid of all of that now because I couldn't do anything now on a new server. It's just £10 a month. There's no extra little transaction fees or anything. They all come out of my end. Yeah, it's just £10 a month. You can cancel anytime. You're not locked in for a year or 3 months or anything. So you can, if you wanted to, you could sign up for £5, learn all 20 effects that are out now and whatever comes out that month, and then cancel it. And you've learned like 25 effects for £5.
But
no, if you don't do that, but you can.
A lot of people that are members, and none of them have cancelled.
A lot of the members are still there. There's been a couple of people that have cancelled, but it's they've always text me after. Like, I don't care if people cancel. Like, it might not suit you. It might not be your kind of thing. Some people have texted me and been like, "Hey, the gigs aren't coming in." I'm like, "Yeah, it's totally fine. Like, unsubscribe. It's not, it's up to you." But yeah, I genuinely think it's a great deal in magic right now. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that 50% off discount, and hopefully people enjoy it.
That's amazing. And you know what? There's probably an element of FOMO there. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing all this content. It's absolutely brilliant. I don't want to cancel, because if I do, what am I going to miss out on next week, whenever it is? Like, you know, that's
something I started doing as well, is like hinting what's going to come out in the next week. So people are like, well, I don't want to cancel because this person's got their guest piece coming out next week, and it's quite fun.
brilliant, man. That's absolutely awesome. You know what, Luke? I really appreciate you coming on the channel. I really appreciate you finding the time to do this, because, like I said at the very beginning, don't know you for Adam, and having just got to know you, I like your style. I like what you're doing. I think that we need more people like you in Magic. I'm super excited that you're getting a stand at Blackpool, because, to be honest, the amount of stands at Blackpool that are just full of you know, like 95-year-old people sitting behind the stand in like a rocking chair, doing this with a pile of crap that hasn't been touched since the 1970s, and I think Magic needs to move on from that, and I think that, you know, you having a stand at Blackpool is amazing. I think it's going to be a big hub for a lot of the social media magicians. I think they'll be hanging on your stand. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm still working out the kinks. I want it to be a nice stand now. I'm still working it all out, but it should be a good convention. And also, no one's been to a convention in like 2 years. Everyone's gonna love it. Like,
oh, right, it's going to be absolutely amazing. I know I've spoken to Russ Stevens and Russ Brown and Guy Barrett, and they all are planning this. They want this to be the biggest convention ever. It's like bounce back times 10. So yeah, and they seem to be changing the dealers around a lot, because spoke to Richard Young the other day, who obviously does changing cards.
Yeah, he's got a stand.
He's changing cards. That, I mean, he's a guy that's doing some nice stuff with social media. And
there's a lot of guys that have set up businesses during, including me, that set up businesses during the pandemic, right? Like Richard. I think Richard was slightly before the pandemic, but Richard and my friend Jason Knowles, two of my friends, Siler and Jordan, have also set up a company. And it's really cool seeing them all. Like, there's going to be loads of new Blackpool stands. Like, trust me, because so many people have set up companies, started self-producing. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to the dealer tour this year or next year.
There's more and more people getting into social media and just performing. Somebody who I interviewed the other day, who hasn't gone up yet, and she's going up in a couple of weeks, is Ashley Goodwin, who is, I don't know if you know her. She's on Instagram. She was the person on the changing cards.
Yeah, the cards.
Yeah, she's doing some great stuff as well. I mean, it is the place to perform. Social media these days is the place where you're going to get to see some really cool stuff. And you seem to be leading the charge with that, Luke. You seem to be the guy that's at the front, the Godfather of close-up magic, social media magic. So it's awesome. Thank you so much. I support everything that you do. I want everyone to do me a favor, guys. If you're watching this, I want you to leave a comment down below, so Luke can see it, and give it a shot. It's £5. He's offering you a chance to go check out his entire back catalogue for £5. Like, seriously, that's insane. Don't think, oh, don't do social media magic. Think about it as situational magic. Think about it as organic magic. And I think that this is an amazing deal. It really is. So, Luke, thank you so much for coming on the channel. Keep doing what you're doing, my friend.
No worries, man. It's been great to be here. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and thanks for the interview, man.
No problem, buddy. Guys, you want to see more videos like this? Do me a favor, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be back again tomorrow with 3 videos, 1 at 2, 1 at 6, 1 at 9. So I'll see you then. Thanks very much for watching, guys. My name's Craig from Magic TV.